Taking breaks from work to socialize makes you more productive. I want you to know about this so you would feel less judgmental about yourself. What I'm talking about is it's okay to take a break from your mission, which in this case is work, to socialize without it actually moving you away from your goal. Keep in mind that while I am saying this, I'm already assuming that you are a person on a mission and you are just considering whether or not it is okay to take breaks from being on that mission, which sometimes tends to be very overwhelming. And I believe that you should know this so the next time you are in the same scenario, or you're maybe now in the same scenario, you can make the right decision and not feel guilty about it afterward. Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. It's Saturday, you've worked all week, you've been on your mission, and you feel this desire to take a break and socialize with your friends, family. Maybe you've even been invited to an event, but deep in mind you feel like you would fail yourself because you would take a break from your mission. So you are very skeptical whether or not you should act upon this desire. Me personally, I have taken both routes multiple times. I have both decided to not make plans with people, even though I felt the desire to do so, just so I could work on my mission. It was good on paper, but not sustainable. And I have made plans with people when I felt this desire, even though I was on my mission and I knew exactly what I should do to get closer to the end goal. And let me tell you, almost every time I went out, I didn't regret it. And it didn't impact the amount of work that I got done in the long run. And maybe it even increased the amount that I got done. What do I mean by increased? I will show you. And this convinced me that a decision like this is no longer purely emotional, but it can also be strategic. So this is a week later, the lighting is a little bit different. I may look a little bit different. I spent this week to figure out how to make infographics. Let's start. First scenario, you decide to not hang out. As the subject of what we are about to measure, I will use writing a book or a script. So basically I will measure pages written. I understand that this will be very abstract because we all know creativity can be measured and you definitely need that to write a book or a script, but just bear with me. Okay, so look at this fancy graph. The y-axis measures the amount of pages written in that hour, and the x-axis means the hour of the day. I actually use something that Professor Jordan Peterson said.
I don't really think you can do more than about 3 hours of extremely intense intellectual work a day. Although if you have a nap, you can stretch that, but I think at least I end up paying for it across time.
So in this graph, we see that those 3 hours have passed and we decided to continue pushing through it. And we still got some pages done, but probably they didn't have the quality that we wanted them to be. Not socializing indirectly caused our focus to significantly decrease, and it decreased fast, as you can see. But what if on a Saturday or Sunday you decided to go out and socialize? And I mean leisure activities, not something intellectual, work-related, going out with friends or family. And assuming that you have scheduled in this Saturday or Sunday to work around 5 hours, what if you decided to sacrifice those 2 hours to socialize? If we compare this to the first example, the first 2 hours, just for the sake of simplicity, would probably look the same. You would begin by writing 2 pages the first hour, which I know is very abstract, but stay with me, and then obviously write less as the time goes on. But if after the second hour you went out on a leisure activity, this doesn't necessarily have to be 2 hours. We all know that. This can be longer, shorter, doesn't matter. What matters is that the break is there, but as you can see, when you return, the 1 hour after your leisure activity, you can still be very productive. Now this is still considering the fact that it takes about 20 minutes to get into this deep focus state. But what changes now compared to the first scenario, you had all this time in between to consciously or unconsciously ponder on the ideas. So now all you had to do is just put them on paper. Okay, now let's do some fancy math and let's compare the two and how much pages we would actually have written, hypothetically. In the first scenario, adding all the hours together would equal to around 6.5 pages written. And the second scenario, counting all the hours together, would equal to around 5.5 pages written, hypothetically, right? And you might be thinking, wait, the first scenario makes more sense because I get more pages done. But take this into consideration. You decided to suppress your desire, so not acting upon it and just working may actually burn you out. So the next week and the week after that, still not pursuing your desire may lead to a major burnout. And that's when your productivity levels will significantly drop. So in the long term, the approach of sometimes, when you actually deserve it and you've been on the grind for long enough and it makes sense to do so, when you act upon like these healthy, this I don't know why I do this. This is healthy. When you act upon these desires, it can actually help you get more work done. And that, my friend, is called a work-life balance.